Okay, View from the Hazards, episode 33. We hadn't actually...
33?
Mate, 33. 100%. It seems a long time ago since we first started these, but we've not actually done one for 2 weeks, been slacking. But then again, technology has just been updating. I mean, you won't be able to see this on the actual podcast, but got my camera, filming. Going to be doing a vlog on this day, on this training day. Then again, you don't actually know where we are at this point. We could be anywhere. But no, Benno, how's your week been? You feeling good, yeah?
Yes, fantastic.
The lie detector detected that is a lie.
I'll be all right when we get on court in a bit.
Yeah,
It's been busy actually. It's been a very busy week.
Seriously, I've seen the course actually. You've been very busy.
It's been a very busy week. I can't really remember what I've been doing. I've worked every day this week.
Yeah, I saw that on Saturday, Sunday.
This is day 6.
Yeah, cheers Saturday.
Swiftly followed by day 7 tomorrow.
I'm glad you are working Saturday, Sunday. To be fair, because I've not had a double hit with you in a long time.
Well, the thing is, we've got the situation here is that like Chris and I have to be around for every court.
Yeah. So I like how you have job maintenance on a Saturday after 5.
So we're closed, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can actually go home.
Yeah, exactly.
So last weekend I was off, as I had a prior engagement away from real tennis.
Well, with real tennis people. Oh no, it wasn't with real tennis.
No, it wasn't with real tennis.
It wasn't with Brim.
Only 6 though. There's only 6 of us.
All right, mate. All right. I'm not the police.
No, but you know, for the 4 people that are going to listen to this, I don't want to get any comments.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I've got next weekend off, and then a couple of days in the weeks I'm doing an academy coaching day at Queen's.
Are you allowed to do that?
They're confirming it today, I think, or either.
Because surely you going into London's a bit dodge. Like, well, I suppose it's not that bad.
Well, me and Rob are going to be the coaches,
right.
And we're in tier 1 areas,
Mate,
so we're okay. But as long as Queen, and it's only lessons, so in theory it's okay. It's just a question of whether they want people from other geographical areas going in. So
very valid, very valid.
So
that'd be good.
The problem with the system, going back to the 7-day in a row thing, is obviously because if I book time off, Chris then needs to be here.
Yeah.
So I effectively have to buy that time off back. Because I can't expect him to just cover me all the time while I'm just swanning around.
Sounds like you're just working forever then.
So I'm literally like having to taking a few days off and then having to work like double to cover it basically. So it's like,
oh well, mate. It's not that sad. I'm here for some training.
It's tough, exactly, man.
And it doesn't even look like the Queen's tournament's going to happen because of the new rules.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, right?
Well, that's like mid-November, but as it stands, in theory. Mate, they could have it. I think they could have it.
If they go into tier 2, they can't because
actually, London's in tier 2. They can't.
They are having social matches. They're not lessons.
Yeah, that's true. Well, then again, there could be some lessons like you against Ed K, like Rob Fay against Ed K. Could be a bit of a lesson.
Could be a lesson
if he gets through. Correct.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's think about this. How many amateurs are there?
Loads, mate. There's more amateurs than pros.
So there's 4 amateurs, 4 pros.
Lessons.
So you just turn it into a straight knockout and just have pro versus amateur and say they're all lessons.
I think we're on to something.
I think I've just done it.
Should we text Ben Robertson now?
I've just done it. Yeah.
That could just be a pros v amateurs thing.
We could just turn it into like a Ryder Cup, like pros v amateurs.
Yeah, it'd be a really even match.
Yeah, don't fancy your chances.
Yeah, no, I do that. Oh, yeah. Me against Rob Fay, fantastic. But anyway, obviously,
what have you been doing? Anyway?
Exciting news. Well, last 2 weeks. I was at Oratory last weekend.
Apart from being locked down.
Haven't been
Apparently.
locked down. Yeah. Well, the gyms are open, mate. Well, I've been a bit injured. I've had like a shoulder/neck injury. Too much benching. It's actually from benching, mate.
Oh dear.
So I've had to lay off the chest and just do a bit more arms.
25 kilos was getting too much, was it?
Mate, on the bench, just the bar, yeah.
22.5 fine, 25
honestly,
too much.
I played at Oratory last weekend. Another thing, played a court, so I've now done 26 out of 27 in England.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before you can play Hardwick as well.
They're
not letting guests in at the moment. At the moment.
It's a bit early for that.
Because I have just been formally invited to go and play there to practice with Rob.
Okay.
Because they were like, Rob doesn't want to, like...
I told you that, didn't I?
Book loads of court time at the
that.
Oratory. Yeah. So he's going to come over to Hardwick, and as he's got no one to play, apart from Claire, they were like, we'd be more than happy for you to come down and use the club. I was like, oh, thanks very much.
Well, I can be 5'8" if it needs to be.
5'8" and a pocket rocket. You haven't got the pocket rocket in you there.
No, I'm not fast enough.
No, you're not aggressive enough and moody enough.
Don't drink enough. But yeah, no. Well, I won't be playing Hardwick for a while. That's a shame. But maybe I could come to the car park and
Just imagine just the anticipation of it increases.
Can I just come for the day and watch? No one needs to know. And just hit one ball in the court. That's all I want to do.
I played it.
That's all I want to do. I'll film your practice.
To be fair, that's what I did the first time I played Wellington. I went down there for a meeting and I literally walked out on court and hit the ball into the main wall 3 times and was like, right, I've played Wellington.
Mate, that's the same as me in New York.
And then I didn't step foot on it for another 2 years after that.
At New York, I've been on both courts for about 5 minutes, but I've played them. That counts.
Done.
That's the way we'll do it.
Just put your foot, literally just like
dip my toe in the door, tap the grill. Well, it would take me too long to hit a grill. But yeah, anyway, oratory's cool. Shame I couldn't talk about it on the original podcast, but I don't mind it that much. It's a bit bouncy though. Jesus.
It is bouncy, but it's like
you can get a lot back.
Because actually, what's interesting is we talked about the oratory, and since we did that podcast where we were probably like pretty useless with the information, we've both now hit on it.
It was definitely like a recorded podcast, like where I would have been like 10 a.m. in the morning, like. Yeah, oratory. You just come from oratory. Chris Herbert. Yeah. But I didn't mind it. You can absolutely whack it as well.
If you get the ball in short and hit like floor sidewall, you can't get it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it just literally cuts down and dies like there and then. So you can get like In fact, you know what? It'd be very interesting to play somebody like actually, what a stupid comment that is because he played it last year. I'd be really interested to see how someone like Cam would.
He played
would get on against.
Don't know, mate. If you go on
6 months ago,
if you go on YouTube, you might find it.
But as in, like, he's obviously extremely quick around the court, right? And his retrieving's amazing.
Yeah.
But the oratory, like, you can get the ball to die quite far up the court.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to, if you had any control of the ball, you'd be able to like drag him into like further areas up the court, like the Tamba.
It's massive, mate.
Well, it's massive.
It's so big.
I would have said that in the first one.
It's perfect for me because like.
But it's so wide.
I hit the timbre anyway.
Yeah, but it's so wide as well. Like you hit the timbre from the forehand corner. It's like hazard better than 2.
Yeah, I know.
It's
like I remember there was one where like I was playing against Levi and basically he's misread the timbre like massively. He's completely misread it. And it's just gone to the hazard. I was like, well, that's just annoying. Like he's nowhere near. I don't mind if he's reading it and it's like got to a hazard.
And he's left it.
He's literally like turned the other way and it's gone to a hazard. I was like, I don't need this in my life. Like this is annoying. But played all right there. To be fair, I had a bit of a stiff neck, but rested that since then. And yeah, obviously, I said to Rob like after the hit because he was on court. I was like, oh Rob, how do you want me to pay? Do I pay at reception? He's like, no, I'll send you an invoice. I was like, oh, fair enough. I might not have to pay for a few weeks anyway. Get an email at 10 p.m. on Sunday night or Monday night, and it's like Rob Face sent you an invoice. I was like, oh my god, I've got to pay that now.
I need to pay that immediately.
Because I was really worried it's going to be like some bank transfer, but it was like this computer program where you can just type in your details. I was like, oh perfect. Don't want Rob Face chasing you for money. That would be bad.
Did you not see years ago? This is so funny. Like Rob Fay. We were all chasing money. I'm not going to like name the name or anything like that, but there was a World Championship doubles, and it was taking a very long time for us to get paid. Like,
this is the French one. The French one.
No.
Oh, the tuxedo.
Worrying amount of time to get paid, right? And have you seen the Family Guy scene where like Brian owes like Stewie money, and Stewie walks in and he's just like. Hey man, I'm just here to pick up the like $50 you owe me or whatever. And Brian's like, yeah, no worries, I'll give it to you later in the week. So he's like, oh, that's interesting. I thought we said you were going to pay today. And he's like, oh yeah, but I haven't been to like an ATM. Like I'll just get it to you like later in the week or something. And so he absolutely decks him, and he's like, where's my money, man? Rob posted that scene to like Facebook years ago. So you don't want to get on Rob's bad side for money.
In it. I paid that straight away.
That is one of the funniest things.
That's such a troll as well. That's such a troll.
Brilliant.
But anyway, that's quite. We've literally not done like a podcast in 2 weeks. Just forgot. Both been busy. But going to be a bumper week. This one, a bumper week of uploads. And we've got a good episode for you today, guys. I thought of this one midweek.
Midnight.
Probably was. Oh yeah. So I was asleep and it was 12:20. I've woken up, thought that's a great podcast idea, wrote it down, went back to bed, texted Ben at like 7 a.m. when I've woken up, being like, I wrote this down, it's a great idea. The best sports to come to real tennis from. I can't believe we've not discussed it. It's a mint idea. Because it's actually like quite a good concept.
It is a concept because there's so many.
Yeah, there are so many sports.
So
I mean,
well, let's start with you then, because you're probably quite a quick, boring case, because you would have just come to the sport
from real tennis.
From real tennis, right?
Yeah.
Just started playing it like at the same time as other stuff.
Like literally,
Played squash with James Asher.
I did. Yeah, good knowledge. Yeah, my first sport was squash, but that was my first racket sport. But
Somebody, and I'm not going to bore people with this while I think about it for ages, but somebody was in last week, and their uncle or nephew,
yeah.
who is it?
Is it Hans Wilson you're about?
Yes.
Yeah, Hans Wilson. It's
Pete
basically
Wilson.
I saw. Yeah, so again, I played squash with him. I saw him last night actually because I was playing racquetball. Yeah, and again, squash was my first sport. I got coached by Hans's nephew,
That's right, yeah.
who's a really good squash player.
So I said to Hans, like, you should go and ask him if he can remember a kid called James Asher, and if he can, tell him like he's doing really good things in.
But obviously Pete knows Asher. Anyway,
that's what I mean. Hans should ask Pete if he remembers a kid called James Asher.
100% they know each other.
And be like,
they know each other.
if he does, tell him he's doing really well in Philly. And
yeah, they know each other well. To be fair, but yeah, no, real tennis is like my one. Like every other sport I've ever played takes real tennis in. Like if you watch me play cricket, the way I hit the ball is almost like real tennis. Like how I get my hands into it. I'm all hands. Likewise, squash. Like I just move like a real tennis player. Like it's terrible.
Yeah, to be fair, if I play racquetball, I hit the ball like a real tennis shot.
Yeah, and it would be like my mate who I play racquetball with is literally like you move like an absolute retard. Because he's like, why don't you lunge in? You get you both feet into the ball like real tennis. You don't need to. I'm like, mate, that's all I know.
My backhand is literally just like the perfect backhand ground stroke in reelers. I just like block it down the line.
Yeah.
Give me a forehand and I just whack it. That's pretty much it.
Boast is the main wall load. Hit main wall forces.
Where's the dead on?
That's out. But yeah, no, real tennis is like my sport. Same with Bryn, I guess. Like,
yeah, I would say so.
Same with Camden.
Anybody who's been playing for like
years,
since they were a kid has done that. So
your reelers?
No. I didn't start playing reelers till I was 18.
Yeah, but what was your first sport? Like, what did you?
I used to do like
football.
I used to do a bit of everything, but that's the thing. Football was my sport.
And Mark Hobbs.
Yeah, I wasn't as good as Hobbsy. Football was my thing, but I was generally like, as a kid, like, it's going to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I'm not. Like, if you introduce me to any sport, I'd be decent at it, like straight away. I'd pick it up like very quickly.
That's sick.
But I was a master of none of them. I was like decent at everything, but not great at anything.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, that was my thing really. But I used to play a bit of lawners in the summer with mates.
I'm sure you would have hit a ball.
Never had a lesson.
Yeah,
Played golf and stuff. So I was like the idea of having a hitting implement and having to hit a ball was like not alien to me. First time I ever went on court. Came off and the pro was like, I reckon you'd probably be off about 45.
Serious?
All right. I was like, okay, what does that mean?
And then you bought,
no idea what that meant.
And then you bought a few more lessons, and then he was like, "Thank God, that's one of the best lies I've ever told."
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no. See,
Actually, you wouldn't have known.
This is interesting. I have never been an amateur real tennis player. I was never an amateur.
That's quite cool.
I literally got into the sport because I applied for a trainee pro position. Went on court for my first interview because the pro at the time was like, I need to make sure you can play because if you can't play, you're no good to me. So it came off. He was like, yeah, I reckon you'd be off about 45. I'm like, don't know what that means, but thanks. And then had an interview and then got the job. So day one at the Hyde, pro. Never an amateur.
That's so cool.
I've never used a standard racket. Mate,
You've never used a white?
I've never used a white.
I have, mate.
Never used whites. It's incredible. Actually, when you think about it, I'm like the most pompous, high-end real tennis player ever. Never an amateur. Never used a standard frame.
No, you're not high-end. It's the opposite. It's gentlemen.
Spoon-fed.
Gentlemen and players. You're the ultimate non-amateur. You've had no royalties.
Yeah, just been completely spoon-fed.
Oh well.
Well, anyway, that was my thing.
Let's think about Let's just go from the obvious.
Well, you've got the obvious two, right?
Lawn tennis and squash are the obvious two. I pose a game of players who come to real tennis from lawners.
Right.
Good players. Rob Fay.
Steve Agona.
Chisholm. No, you might have been squash. I don't know.
I was going to say Chisholm, so I'll take.
I don't know. Who else from lawn tennis? Leon. Alexis Hombrecker.
Yeah, Hombrecker.
Wilcox, surely. No.
I don't know. See, that's the, I
Those
think the
could
thing
have
is like with like Rob and Steve, like they were lawn tennis specialists, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know of anybody else who was like
Peter Wright.
Peter Wright, specialist.
Specialist, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean you win. You've named 4, I've named 2, so so that's easy.
Right, yes, lawn tennis. I personally think lawn tennis. Oh, there's loads of sports, by the way.
There's millions.
There's
We
loads
could
of
be.
sports.
That's what I mean.
could
We
be
need
here
to
for a
hurry
while.
this up. We could be
I
here
know
for
we do.
ages.
Lawn tennis, right? Why is lawn tennis a good starter for reelers?
So the lawn tennis is good because ground strokes and volleys are insane from lawn tennis players,
100%.
and the footwork is very similar to lawn tennis.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Like very similar.
much more similar than squash.
I.e., you try and kind of get back towards the middle, but there's no like designated spot like there is in squash, like the tee.
Yeah,
And you're happy to move to like different areas all the time.
yeah,
So your feet, there's no designated foot pattern for tennis. You know what I mean? You take as many steps as you need to, and that translates very well to reelers. Ground strokes, volleys, obviously very good. Really, really good.
yeah. I think scary good though. Like the volleys, like genuinely, you can be a good real tennis volleyer and have never picked up a real tennis racket before if you play lawn tennis.
Yes,
that's
precisely.
Whereas for me, like I was so bad at volleying for so long because I've like never done.
Me too, still am.
I know you're a good volleyer, babe. Like that's complete fiction, but like I was so bad for so long because I had like nothing else to go back on. Like I'd just done real tennis, and it's like, well, how the hell do I volley?
Like, I'll just hit a lawn tennis volley and see how far it gets me, and you're like, it gets you very far.
Yeah, so far, mate. By the way,
so far. But massive downside to lawners is if they've been lawners specialists, obviously like the use of like the walls and stuff.
Oh my god!
And do you know what the thing is? I actually gave a lesson 2 days ago to a tennis player who's really struggling off the walls and stuff. And I said, like, as well as the obvious, i.e., you've never seen it before, so like you're not used to the bounce, you know, stuff like that. I actually came to a very interesting conclusion that in lawn tennis, you're only ever interested in where the ball is, right? There's the ball, and he's go and get it. But in reelers and squash and anything and like cricket with a bounce, anything where there's a bounce, you've got to not worry about where the ball is. You need to worry about where the ball is going to. Where it's going. Like where's it going to be when I'm going to be interested in it. And by interested in it, I mean when I need to hit it, where's it going to be?
Yeah.
So imagine that. If you've only ever played lawn tennis and you're always just fixated on the ball, and it's what I call dog syndrome. It's just literally, all right, go and fetch it. It's literally all you're doing. Fetch, hit, run, see it, fetch it, hit it.
I know the feeling.
Whereas, imagine like suddenly going onto a court where you've got to think, right, there's the ball, and someone just saying to you, like, don't worry about where it is, plot where it's going to end up.
Yeah, because if you chase after the ball, it'll get like behind you because you'll get in front of it and stuff. Like it literally will just get behind you too quick.
So exactly. So the reason lawn tennis players struggle with it is because the ball appears to be like really quick off the bounces, right? Because they don't try and think ahead. They just literally follow the ball, and then it's too close to them and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, so true.
And the easiest way to put that into like a realistic situation is that is exactly what happens to me. Like obviously I can read a real tennis ball off the walls and don't look too rushed, hopefully. Put me on a rackets court, and that's exactly what happens.
Really?
The reason I would never play rackets doubles...
But you could definitely play.
But the reason I would never play rackets doubles is because I would be dangerous to the other three. Because I would... Not because I'd hit them or anything, but because the ball pings around off the wall so quickly, my brain can't process where it's going to be fast enough.
Really?
So I end up running in the way all the time. So I would be a massive hindrance on a rackets court.
I hate rackets doubles, to be fair.
Because I'm permanently running in the way of the ball. Do you know what I mean? And that's what lawn tennis players must feel like when they get on a reelers court.
Yeah, generally.
Like, why am I running into this thing the whole time? So because they can't process quick enough the future. You know
Watching like lawn tennis players try and read the back wall is something else.
It's hilarious.
Oh mate.
Because like when you get them on court for the first time and you're like, well, let me just hit you a few ground strokes, and they're like crushing grills and like hammering volleys into the base of the timber, and then you loop them up some ball into the main wall, and they literally run in the opposite direction. And
No. Yeah, you put a ball on the back wall, and they're like, it bounces twice, and then they hit it, and it's like, what? Like,
or they just get nowhere near it, and you've just literally hit ground strokes and volleys like a 20 handicap, having never hit the ball before, and now you literally like
even the roof, they just can't like a serve. Like it's hard.
Yeah,
it takes like time.
So there are like the obvious positives to that, are like the ground strokes and the volleys, and like see ball, hit ball. They're amazing at it, and also they find it very easy to. They find it very easy if you turn around and say, right, it's not like some big, long, flowing swing. You just want to kind of like stab it, like you're hitting a lawn tennis volley at the net in doubles or whatever. They very quickly go into like punching the ball. And if you say, right, don't topspin, try and hit like a bit of cut or go flat through the ball, whatever, they can do that pretty quick. So like, technically, they pick up the technique of it pretty quick, I reckon.
Lawn tennis, yeah.
Yeah, lawn tennis.
Right, let's move on to squash. Players who've come to real tennis from squash.
Chris Chapman. Just wanted to get in first because I don't know anymore.
James Starr.
Shit.
He's a fucking obvious one.
Well, I'm saying rackets.
Oh, come on. He was top 100 at squash before he played reelers.
Well, yeah, but he was also like played rackets at school.
So he was rackets and squash then?
Yeah.
I reckon he was top 100 at squash before he was top 100 at rackets. That's complete fiction. He'd have been better than that. Anyway.
I was just thinking, I'm sure he would have been top 100 rackets pretty much from the word go, right?
yeah. Second he picked it on. From squash.
Hang on. Come on, Ben. Come on. There are more. Well, Josh Smith.
CJ Wise.
I mean, we're scraping the barrel a bit if we're talking about 15 handicaps, aren't we? Roddy, yeah.
Darren is so obvious.
Darren?
Mate, we're so bad at this.
I'm not doing real.
We're so bad at this. Oh my god. Oh mate, come on.
Well, Tim Chisholm maybe.
Maybe he had a hit.
Yeah, I'm out.
Mate, I'm out. I can't remember it. There's got to be loads though. Anyway, squash, right. Why is squash helpful for reels?
Right.
The walls.
The only reason squash is good for real tennis is the ability to plot the route of a ball.
Yeah.
Everything else is terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. The swing.
When people turn up to me and say, like, oh, I've played squash all my life, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be a disaster. And the reason for that is their technique is hideous.
Yeah.
For real tennis.
Jamie Douglas.
Yeah, pretty good. Dave Woodman.
Carry on.
Neil Roxburgh?
I don't know.
Question. Their technique is hideous for real tennis.
Yeah.
And if they've been literally like snapping their wrist and breaking their wrist for years and years and years, it's so difficult for them to not do that.
Yeah.
Also, because of squash, they're thinking about trying to hit the ball like up and down the line, and everything's about power. So you spend ages trying to get them to calm down.
Calm down.
Honestly, their footwork is atrocious. Because in squash, you stand on the tee and it's like, right, it's 2 steps to the side wall, it's 2 steps to the front wall or the back wall, and it's 3 to the corners.
That's actually what helps me in racquetball, because obviously, like, you've got to be able to get around the court in a weird way. Like, the ball's a bit heavier. So whereas in squash, you can just be like rapid, bang, just like hit this small ball. Whereas in a racquetball, it's harder to like volley.
Yeah.
So it actually helps being able to get into all the corners. Whereas for squash, yeah. Like, I've got a mate who I play squash with, and he would just destroy me because he just stands on the tee and like hits volleys, and it's like, well, how's that fair? He literally doesn't move.
How's that fair?
Literally, you could be fat and do that. Like,
But that's the thing. Like, their movement, purely based on for real tennis purposes, their movement is terrible because they just want to take long lunges.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not quite simple as 3 lunges. You're not just going straight to the sidewall. You might be going diagonally to chase 4, 5, second. Like, you're moving in massive. You're not moving in such obvious planes like you are in squash.
Yeah.
So their movement is horrible. Their technique is horrible. And they just will not stop flicking and trying to whack it. And because of their movement and their technique, they look, and because the ball's obviously travelling a lot slower, or when you're teaching them to begin with, it's a lot slower than squash. They look so unbelievably arrogant out there. They're like, oh, this is easy. And they're like constantly looking at the frame because they can't hit a ball to save their lives because they're crap. And they're just like, oh, what's wrong with this game? And I'm like, no, you're just useless. You're useless. Listen to what I'm saying and try and play. Stop trying to play squash on a real tennis court. It won't work.
Works for quite a few players.
But with real tennis technique. So if you look at someone like Chappers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch him in the corners and he like flick both the ball out and stuff like that. It's amazing. But if you said to him, and I'm asking him now, Chappers, if you're listening, I am going to put money on the fact that that is not his squash technique. It's a portion of his squash technique, but his squash technique would be more flicky, more wristy, more snappy.
It's adapted.
Exactly. So it's still got the squash style, but it's got a real tennis take on it.
Same with Daz. Like his backhand is incredible off the walls. Incredible. Off the back wall, off the side wall, but you give him a straight one and he'll miss. It's weird like that.
Yeah.
Like, he is one of the best players at picking a ball off the side wall I've ever seen.
In terms of...
He never misses.
In terms of another advantage for squash, their ability to read angles is a big help, is a massive help.
Pace as well. I think squash players can hit pretty hard.
Pace, and also the big thing is like their ability to get themselves out of extreme danger is insane.
But retrieval, I think, squash.
Like, for example, like I've never been a squash player who's had like squash technique or anything like
Remember
that.
when we used to play racquetball, mate? It's like embarrassing. Like how it looks.
It's hilarious.
It's just...
Two real tennis guys out there prodding it around. But we had a good run around because no one could kill it.
Yeah, I know.
But if you put me in like a tough situation in the backhand corner, I physically don't have the technique and the capabilities or the wrist strength to like flick both my way out of trouble. Like a Chappers, a Woodman, a Douglas, a Darren. Like watching some of the stuff that they can get out of corners.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Ridiculous.
It's like some of the stuff Darren gets back. Some of the stuff Darren gets back, I'm like, that's not like allowed. Like, that's ridiculous.
I look at some of the stuff and I'm like, I will never be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the technique for it.
It's a scandal.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff.
So they're good at getting themselves out of trouble, and they've got good angle. They read the angle as well. Of the two, by the way, if someone came to me and said, I've played very high level of one of those two, I would always want the tennis player.
100%, yeah. But you see how many high-level tennis players actually got good quickly?
Well, if you think about it, right, what you need to do with a tennis player is you need to teach them angles. Yeah.
That doesn't take long.
They can figure that out.
Yeah.
With squash, you need to teach technique. Therefore,
that's hard,
you need to rewrite their DNA, and that is hard.
That's hard. That's biologically difficult.
So hard.
I agree, actually, Ben. That's good coaching. It's almost like you've been doing this for a long time.
I would, if someone comes to me and says I play county squash, I'm like, if someone said I'm going to play county tennis, I'd be like, tennis player, come in.
Yeah.
I'll have you, and the squash player can go with someone else.
You can play tennis.
You're harder work.
Yeah.
So there's those two. We're obviously not going to go rackets, right?
Mate, a lot of players have come to this from rackets.
Okay, right. Well, the rackets players are insane because
Mail.
everything's half speed.
James Mail. Players
we're just doing
rackets,
that. James Stout.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Come on, Rob. Giddens. Jamie Giddens.
Ben Corsten. Played here last week.
Yeah, how'd you watch him?
No, I wasn't working. I was off, wasn't I?
He told me, actually. He said he liked it. He was texting me a lot. Any other rackets players? James Mail's a big one, obviously. I reckon Snowy...
I was going to say, Julian.
Might have come from rackets first. He'll tell us a different. I can't think of anyone else. But yeah, rackets is a good one.
Rackets needs probably, 2 minutes?
Yeah, not long.
I mean, if you're good at rackets, you're going to be good at real tennis. Because it's
slower.
It's the same... Pretty much the same size court. There's just a couple of extra walls in there. The angles are not an issue, and it's all travelling slower. So they're just like... This is like... an infant version of rackets.
The one thing rackets players struggle with is like the timbre, because they just want to get in front of it and like volley, so you can just beat them like in front of the timbre. Like
the thing that rackets players are bad at, right, is it's very, very difficult to get a rackets player to try. Though that sounds really weird, but like it's difficult to get a rackets player to literally give it 100% on a real tennis court because it's so much slower than what they're used to. They're quite casual.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, like play as intensely as you. How many rackets players just literally rock up like Ben Snell at Queen's?
He was like a 9, mate.
Yeah, got to 9. Like they'll hack it around a bit, have a few lessons, stand in for a few doubles with the boys, and then it's like, right, yeah, you're off 12, mate. And they're like, am I? Don't even know the rules yet.
My dad came from rackets and. He said his first handicap was like 25.
Yeah, exactly.
He's never been lower than 25, and he was like, "All right." And he was like, and then he got to 15 in like a year or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, all right.
But what I would like to see with those guys is just like, yeah, you're pinging it around cluelessly, and this is a compliment. You're playing off 12 or 15, and you haven't got a clue what you're doing.
Honestly, yeah, every rackets player just starts at 25.
So
30.
if you literally like played with a bit of intensity and figured out some tactics, you've got another stout on your hands.
Well,
Straight away.
Tom Bomford rackets, but like these guys like they tend to get to like a level like Ben Corsten would probably, as you just said, well he would probably be like a 15 now, but it's getting to that next level which would be hard.
Yeah, because you've actually got to figure it out. You can't just play based on raw talent unless you're James Stout.
Well, he can do what he wants, but he generally can. But I think a combination of lawn tennis and rackets is the best way.
The best sport
is the best combination to have. Freddie Bristow as that.
I'm going to throw something into. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here.
Volleyball or something.
Volleyball. I'm going to say, if you are a batsman, you've got everything made to be a good real tennis player.
Will Burns, mate.
Straight away.
He came from cricket.
The amount of times I use cricket as a coaching point, and I can't play cricket.
Yeah.
Right.
I've had a few mates who have taken on from cricket and they were decent.
Everything that a batsman does in cricket helps their real tennis, right? So the analogy I always give to members when they just never prepare is I'm like, right, you're a cricketer. They're like, yeah. I'm like, if someone's steaming in at 90 miles an hour, you're not going to have your bat on the floor, wait for them to release the ball, and then get your bat back and try and block it because the wicketkeeper's already caught it. Right?
Yes.
So as they come in, they're going to like get soft on their knees and get their bat back. So if they need to, they can just quickly chuck it forward and block the ball away, right?
Yeah.
Also, all they're doing, they've got a firm grip, like when they make contact, and they're using the pace of the ball to like punch the ball through areas to try and hit fours.
Yeah.
That's all you're trying to do on a real tennis court. Early racket preparation, tight grip on contact, and you're trying to use the pace of the ball and like guide the ball around the court. It's exactly the same thing.
Time it around.
It's exactly the same technique. It's just instead of the bat being like vertical, it's horizontal.
And also, you want to sort of hit it where the ball's come from as well. Like if it is on the offside, hit it on the offside. Don't like hit against.
Play with the lines.
And if you're going to hit against the line, you're going to have to concentrate flipping hard. It's the same as real tennis. Like if you're going cross court, but it's already gone cross court, you're going to have to concentrate really hard rather than going down the line.
Yep. And they're like their foot position is like very important. They're trying to get their weight forwards. Like everything.
Yeah. If you're a right-handed batter and a right-handed real tennis player, it's pretty similar. I think for me, it's translated a lot.
That's what I mean. Like I think cricket. If somebody says to me like first lesson, I played like good cricket, and I'm like, are you a batsman or a bowler? If they're a batsman, I'm like, you're going to find this easy, mate.
If you're a bowler, throw me some railroads.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a bowler, you come and feed me some balls, mate. You'd be great.
Just throw them around the corners.
You have to put it exactly where I want them.
Yeah.
So that for me, if you gave me if you then put a county lawn tennis player in front of me and a batsman, I'd take the batsman.
Really?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of people at Lords, a lot of players at Lords have come from cricket. Like Brian Church, years ago, was apparently quite good at cricket.
I would take the cricketer.
Who else has come from cricket? Johnners? Nick Howe would have played a bit of cricket.
Like, for example, so you mentioned Nick Howe. I bet, and he probably would have played it at school a bit, so he's got a little bit of...
He whacked it at cricket.
It's a bit cheating. But if you put Benny Howell on a real tennis court...
He's off like 20, apparently.
Right, there you go. From what? Having played a few times at school and never since.
And played a bit of Melbourne or something, but he's obviously never coached.
So, although having said that, do you remember like at Lords a few years ago they had like Strauss and Nasser playing?
Yeah, I watched them.
Garbage, apparently.
They were so bad, mate. Apparently Strauss plays a little bit actually.
Yeah.
At Wellington now, but they weren't great.
But yeah, like so, I reckon cricket like batsmen are amazing.
Yeah, I agree. You've got that hand-eye, don't you? I took one of my mates on court earlier this summer who plays cricket like a batter, and he was good. He was just like, he hit the ball well, like moved into the ball, like it was fine. Sort of like read the bounce because it's a similar bounce to cricket, I guess, like a hard ball. Interesting point. I'd still rather take a rackets player, lawn tennis. But rackets, it's so hard to get them to play real tennis, mate.
Well, that's the thing. Like
rackets players literally, rackets players just hit the ball around. It's like you get them to like think length, they can't do it. They just hit the ball.
Yeah, because they're like, what's that? What's length?
They just hit. Yeah, in rackets, like there is no length. Really.
There's no length in any of those racket sports. Lawn tennis, one-dimensional. All you're trying to do is hit the ball past your opponent.
Yeah.
That's it. All you're trying to do. Squash, it's not about length. It's about width.
Yeah. I think conversely, real tennis translates into other sports better than they do others. So like us playing lawn tennis, we'd still be decent.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to just slice both sides.
Mate, I played a lot of lawn tennis in lockdown, and believe you me, made a lot of people very angry.
I was giving one of my members a lesson yesterday, and they were like, "What's your lawn tennis like?" And I was like, "If you put me at the net in doubles,
Never miss a ball.
I'm genuinely lethal.
Yeah.
It's the other 99.9% I can't do. But like,
Yeah.
I'm never missing a volley in lawners." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Well, think what like, think what like good players at real tennis can do with a volley. They can hit line and length and width all at the same time.
Yeah.
Repetition. Then give me a racket that's 3 times the size, and tell me I don't have to think about length because all I've got to do is get it past my
and it's
opponent."
slower,
like,
and it's a slower and lighter ball.
yeah,
mate.
exactly. It
I
can be
played.
all hands.
I played. Played a fair bit, and like was just my backhand slice is so much easier than a backhand in real tennis. Like literally
Yeah.
never miss a ball ever.
No.
Forehand just hit flat, and then whenever you get a volley at the net, that's it. And just tapping a serve.
And then if you give us like,
Let's go.
literally just roll in a little 20-mile-an-hour bunt serve. But then squash, same thing. Like reading the angles and having the fitness to charge around and stuff means that. So people ask me, because there's lawn tennis and squash club up the hill from here, and they're like, why don't you join and play like squash and try and get some members or whatever? And I'm just like, I've got no interest in playing squash because my physical capabilities and my hand-eye like capabilities put me at a certain level at squash immediately.
Yeah.
Right. So the level I would be at squash would mean that the only way I'm going to beat people
As if they get tired.
is if I have to start thinking about how to play the game of squash properly, and I've got no interest in doing it. People are going to start chopping me up because they're going to play stupid little drop shots and like little like reverse boasts, and it's the whole kind of like look away, and I just can't stand. I can't stand that.
I played someone in the Birmingham second team at squash in like March because I basically met him on a night out and gave him. And obviously I know a fair bit about squash. I do like it. Gave him all this spiel about like squash. I watched squash. Mate, I'm pretty fit. I play real tennis. Played loads of squash. Played squash my entire life. Anyway, played him, and he was on the second team. I thought, tell you what, I can just run around it. I might be able to beat him. Mate, it was honestly like I've never been so destroyed in my whole life. Like he was honestly just playing with me, and obviously I was getting a lot back, but could I put him in any danger whatsoever?
Well, exactly right. So
no.
imagine you playing real tennis against a 10 handicap, and you came up with a system where you were like, right, you're not allowed to hit winners. It's just literally a rally off. How can you lose?
It's impossible.
You can't lose. And that's what they're doing. That's the thing with squash. If you're slightly better than someone, you can't lose to them.
My lungs were just falling out when the score was like 3-2. I was like,
yeah, because he's like, you're not good enough to kill. You're not good enough that I need to hit winners.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm just going to never make an error. So now what are you going to do? And then you're like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, there's no grill.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I don't hit it. There's no timbre.
I'm going to have to start like trying to hit nicks and stuff.
I know. There's no forehand corner. It's easy. It's too easy.
Yeah.
My skill in the forehand corner is negated.
Exactly,
right. Well,
gone.
This has been a good debate. We could talk for ages.
I mean, there's obviously any other sports as well, but they're generally. Well, we haven't even like gone through golf or anything.
Come on. Mate.
It's not my favourite sport. How have we not talked about golf?
It doesn't really help that much.
Why not?
Well, it's not a racket sport, is it? It's just golf.
Depends how you play. Play like Bryson DeChambeau.
I'm sure he'd be good at reelers.
Bryson DeChambeau just plays the same style as Dave Woodman.
I love it.
Not
hits dead-ons, mate.
Exactly, not a critical way. It's like, why am I going to hit line and length?
Imagine Dave Woodman being like a professor, being like eating all this protein, but I'm just trying to bulk up, get my force better.
I need to get an extra 20 mile an hour.
Dave, your force is already the best in the world. No, my force can be even better.
You already never miss it.
No, mate, I need another 5 mile an hour off the force. Like, I need my accuracy to be 95, not 90.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Dave Woodman is changing the game of real tennis by making the force more important than the serve. And then before you know it, the force is banned off the return. But yeah, that would be funny.
God, could you imagine that?
You couldn't force off the return. Wouldn't affect me, mate.
Shit. It's like, I thought that was a rule already.
Never do it, mate. What is that a force, you call it?
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'd be good. I think it would help me.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this in a podcast or not before.
Against Darren?
Yeah, and I couldn't hit targets.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous. He trashed me.
Hmm.
So it's amazing.
Because the first ball just can't hurt you.
It's amazing how much how targets do have a massive influence on massive influence on the game. Because when we were doing the stats from the World Championship.
Oh, good podcast that.
Like the amount of targets that are being hit. And to take that away from even like me, right? I wouldn't consider myself like a serial target hitter, right? If you went through the current top 10, and said like, right, who are the big target hitters? I would imagine I would be in the bottom half of that. I don't think I'm known for. I don't think people go, oh, Ben Matthews, yeah, target hitter. You go Rob Fay, you go grill and dead on machine.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You wouldn't say that again about like me.
Yeah.
But even if you take the targets away from me, I get mopped by a 3 handicap. You'd kill me if I couldn't hit targets.
Oh, Ben, I think it would be a good game.
Yeah, well,
It might help me.
Well, I hope it would help you.
Yeah, I know.
But do you know what I mean? It's amazing, like what that does. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. Sorry.
Right, well, should we? To be fair, it's a great discussion, this, because everyone's got an opinion. Like, guys, let us
I'd
know.
be interested to hear what other people think as well.
Yeah, no.
like,
What did you come to it from?
I've had people that have turned up and
Badminton.
gone.
Badminton, Mike Gooding,
Chris Sampson.
Nick Jones.
I'm out.
No more from
But
badminton.
I've had people that have turned up and gone like, oh yeah, so I played like county like table tennis, and I'm like,
Ben Corsten, table tennis.
but I'm like, I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know what strengths that gives you. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Does that mean you've got a really high ball toss?
A really good bounce volley.
Yeah, exactly. Or you throw the ball 10 foot in the air and then wait for it to be 1 inch off the table before you hit the serve.
Got really good slice. I
don't
can
know,
spin it over the net.
Just slide it around.
I can boomerang it. Yeah, honestly, guys, let us know what you came to real tennis from. What do you think like helped you in your sport? If you've got a really niche sport,
Are we missing something obvious?
Yeah, we are.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, triathlon.
400 metres, yeah. Obvious.
Runner. I was a runner. Mate, I'm so fit. I'm the fittest player in the game.
Can't hit a ball, but I'm fit.
Oh my god. But
Anyway,
yeah, it's a good discussion.
Let's stop being stupid.
Right, we'll move on. We'll move on to the court, and we're on Middlesex University.
We took a detour last time, didn't we? We had to quickly nip up the M40 to Radley.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And we've just come back down the M40. A little kind of quarter turn around the M25.
Yeah.
Dropped in on the A1M, and here we are, Middlesex University.
A1M, yeah. Hendon, yeah. The Burroughs Club.
What a lovely part of the world that is.
It is. It's good. It's a good uni.
So this place has had more names. Like it's got to have had the most names in any real tennis club.
What do you mean? As in like
The Burroughs Club.
Oh yeah, Middlesex University.
Now it's Middlesex University, right?
Yeah.
It was
the Millennium Court.
The Millennium Court, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Peter Luckilly's place.
The Millennium Court, but wasn't it? Didn't it actually open in '99?
Yeah. Or 2000. It's got 99 on the badge, doesn't it?
I think it may have opened in '99, but at the time, and probably still might be now, maybe Wellington's overtaken it.
Yeah.
Like the most expensive court in the world by a mile.
Was it?
Yeah, like no expense spared.
Love that. It is a good court, mate.
Peter Luckilly, absolute legend for building it,
Hero.
basically said, I'm going to see what's possible. I'm going to use the best materials for everything.
Really?
And Middlesex is there. It's something like $2.25 million.
Oh my god.
It's a monster.
Is that how much it costs?
Mate, here's a fun fact for you, and I might be wrong here. I might be wrong.
You can buy Ollie Watkins for that.
But I mean, he bags hat tricks.
He's worth 30, all right?
Bags hat tricks against the best team in the world, so I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I know.
So, the penthouse at the Millennium Court, Burroughs, Middlesex.
Great.
The penthouse at Middlesex University cost the same amount as both real tennis courts at Preston.
Shut up.
Same amount.
The penthouse.
The penthouse at Middlesex costs the same as 2 real tennis courts at Preston. I'm pretty sure that's a fact.
What the hell is it like?
It's like unwarpable wood.
Nuclear wood or something.
It's like it can never warp or something. It's like it's the wood and it's got some kind of finish on it that basically means it can't ever bow or like anything like that. Have you never looked like the penthouse at Middlesex?
It's unbelievably smooth.
Thing in the world,
unbelievably
right?
smooth.
And it's been there for 21 years.
It's an unreal penthouse.
And it's still exactly the same.
I think it's probably one of the best penthouses in the world.
Certainly the truest.
Oh, mate, it's so true. Like it hits it and you know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like,
because it's unwarpable wood. It's like,
more than a real tennis court, just a penthouse.
I think the Preston Hall 2-court complex cost the same amount as the
Well, like 500k.
But things like, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping I'm wrong there, but someone did tell me that once. Anyway, Middlesex University, amazing penthouse, obviously. Blue, amazing lighting, like it's very well lit.
Underfloor heating, always warm.
So I mean, no expense spared.
Yeah,
he did not mess around with it.
It's an unreal court.
The walls, I reckon, are made of like
stone,
trampoline stuff.
They're hard.
They're hard, and the ball just springs.
Then again, isn't every
so
wall
much.
hard? It's a wall.
Yeah, Main wall dead on, lethal.
Oh mate,
Because it's so lively off that main wall. It's just
main wall grill every time.
Yeah. The walls are super bouncy. So the way I would say like bouncy is if you hit a ball, floor back wall, somewhere like
Comes
here,
out.
it would come out to let's say 3. At Middlesex, I'm thinking that's 4 and 5.
Yeah, a lot. You don't get many better than 2s at Middlesex.
It's like it hits that wall and feels like it takes off. It's like that's what rackets feels like to me.
Yeah.
It feels like it speeds up off the wall.
What else about Middlesex? Good for like a high serve and like a demi piqué, like a bouncy serve off the penthouse.
It has got everything you would want in a real tennis court, right?
Yeah, it does.
True penthouse, lots of airspace, so you can serve anything you like. It's not like you're restricted because of the height or anything. Amazing like natural light, and the lights are insanely good.
Yeah,
it's
so
everything
good.
you could ever ask for in a real tennis court.
Yeah, it's quality. Maybe the one thing, maybe it's too easy to hit targets.
Interestingly, that said, for me, always bottom third.
Matthews, come on, man. You can pump targets there.
I hate it.
I lob grills, just lob them.
I hate it. It's not a very nice. Let's rewind. I've not just said that. I don't hate any real tennis court.
I've played Middlesex a lot, and like I've always found it so easy to hit dead-ons and grills and stuff. And
If
I don't
somebody
hit
said the test, if somebody said you've got to play a world championship match at Middlesex, my head would go,
oh no. Mine would go, I'm going to work hard here.
yeah.
I'm going to get a lot of balls back.
But that's where it's all just personal preference, isn't it? Like it's got everything you could ever ask for on a real tennis court, like I said. It's a shame that it's like got progressively smaller as a facility. Do you know what I mean? Like they used to have. I don't know if you ever went there when it had like the massive club room out the back.
No, I didn't have that. I didn't.
The
have
pro
that.
shop was huge.
The pro shop used to be in the dead on, didn't it? And now it's moved upstairs.
So you'd walk out of the door by the dead on, and the whole of that studio at the back was like tables and chairs, and the pro shop occupied 90% of the right hand side. It was massive, and it was like this amazing like facility. Really social. They had a bar down the left. You could get lunch there and stuff. Like it was absolutely brilliant. And then the university have just gradually like taken bits back. And now they've got like the dead on. Still got the changing rooms, obviously, which bizarrely have always been tiny, even though you've got like this massive facility.
Yeah, the changing rooms are tiny.
And then the pro shop's upstairs above the outer play line,
above
the main wall.
Not bad because at least you can watch the game.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I think it's like really important to have. It's really important to have like a pro shop where you can watch. What I don't like about like the club here is the fact that like the pro shop isn't like next to the court. I like the fact that like when Ricardo and I started working at Prested, we moved the pro shop from in between the two courts to behind the glass wall.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that the desk was behind the glass wall, and you can always.
Wait, so where did the pro shop used to be?
As you walk up the corridor to court, to both courts, but it happens to be like next to the galleries in court 1. There's a door on the right which is now boarded up.
Oh right.
The pro shop was in there. So it was in between the two courts.
Didn't want it there.
No. So we moved it to anyway. Like, the pro shop location in Middlesex is good because and it was good before because you'd have the glass and you'd always be able to look through and do something like that.
Other positive.
As a facility, it's fantastic.
It's mega, mate. It's quite easy to get to be honest.
Yeah. As a facility, it's fantastic. It's just not in a nice area, and.
But it's fine once you get in there.
I don't play very well on it. That's why it's bottom third.
Differently, I play well there. I actually play well at Middlesex. I
was only eligible for the under 24s like for a few years when I was good enough to play for like 2 years.
Under 24.
I had my best ever win in the under 24s.
Who'd you beat?
Having just said I don't play well there.
Who'd you beat?
I beat Bryn Sayers.
Who's he?
6-4, 6-4. Not that I remember.
Control alt.
He just got back from Newport. He was playing off 2, and I was off 13. And I beat him 4-4.
Was he hungover or something?
No. Bryn Sayers hungover.
Yeah. Or maybe he had a Bryn Sayer.
Please.
That's it. I think.
Then the next day in the semis,
yeah,
I lost. No, that's first round. And the next day in the quarters, that's how many people used to play in it.
Mate, I'm not seeing you through to the semis.
Next day in the quarters, I lost 6-5 in the third to Paul Knox, who was off 13.
Oh well.
Who then went on to lose 6-5 in the third to Craig in the semis.
Oh my god.
Who was off about 10 or 11.
Craig. So
it was Craig versus Camden in the under 24s final one year.
Well, look how their careers went. Yeah. But troll. But yeah, I think I remember before I went to Middlesex for 24s. I remember speaking to Steve at Manchester. I said like, look, how should I play at Middlesex? And he was like, look, if you just play proper shots, If you hit it long, no, I spoke to Rod. He was like, hit long, play proper shots, and if you cut it, it will come down. And it's true. And the timbre helps you out a lot because it's a bit dodgy.
It is, yeah, it's true. Like, and it is very true. Like everything's like completely mint. If I'm criticising, the one thing I'm going to criticise is the noise when the ball goes in the grill.
Yeah, it's deafening. That's the worst noise.
It is ear piercing,
mate. When you're watching me play, oh yeah,
exactly.
It's like you're like a child screaming.
Imagine being Rod and having to practice with Rob 2 hours a day, and just hearing the ball go in that grill like 2 hours a day.
Not sure Rod could hear, mate. I think he was somewhere else. He was
what?
Like, what? I'm still pissed, mate. Yeah.
Very, very true. Love the colour, love the light, love the airspace.
Right,
Penthouse is a bit tall for me.
It is, yeah. Steep.
Like,
it's quite steep.
It's quite steep and it's quite high. I struggle with it because obviously I need to wait for that ball to get down. It doesn't take a railroad.
No, it doesn't spin.
Or it never used to. I've not played there for years.
Doesn't spin.
We're gonna have to go down there. I want to change. I want to go down there and like it. Last time I played there, I played in the British Challenge thing. Lost to Chappers in the semis.
6-5, 6-5, 6-5.
Correct.
I only remember that because that's a really sad score.
I'm the expert of losing 5-alls.
Yeah, I know.
I'd love to know what my 5-all record is.
Mate, ignore it. Stop thinking about it.
I'm not thinking about it. It's just popped into my head. I bet it's atrocious.
Yeah, but everyone thinks
you see
that.
those like, Andy Murray has come back from two sets down like 13 times in his career or whatever, or something stupid like that. Be like,
and lost once or something.
Yeah, Ben Taylor Matthews has like won 5-5-all games in his career and lost 306 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be horrific.
The key, yeah, well, it's one of them. I quite like Middlesex. Right, I pose a game of players who've come from Middlesex. Will Burns. Leon Smart.
Leon Smart. Irina.
Josh King.
Right, I'm not having a crack at Josh here, but are we just listing Middlesex members?
All right, fine. Irina's fine.
Ladies World number what? Come on.
She was world
top 5?
Who else from Middlesex?
What's their Middlesex University real tennis team like? Are they any good cop, bad cop? No one. Right.
They're good lads.
Just for reference, there was no audio answer there, but there was a gesture.
No, mate. I love going to Middlesex. Just got positive memories. Some seriously good blokes who play there.
I don't think there's not many that have like started life like come out of Middlesex, is there?
Leon, to be fair, is one who's like come out of Middlesex.
Yeah,
you know what
Leon Burnsy.
Not Rod. Simon Marshall was pro there.
Is that where he started?
I think he started actually. He started at Queen's because he went to Westminster School and got taught by Drew, but
there you go.
Not really Middlesex. But he played with Rod. Yeah, true. Who knows? I can't think of any more. But yeah, no, Middlesex is a good facility.
I imagine it's like really busy there as well under Chris and Will. Imagine
Chris Bray, mate, unbelievable salesman.
Come from Middlesex, but like
no,
very astute like manager.
Mate,
I imagine they got a pretty.
He's a level 3 marker as well.
Is he?
Chris Bray, yeah. Level 3.
That's amazing. When was the last time he marked a match?
Under 24s, mate. He's good.
No, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just.
He's marked me.
Well, get yourself down to Queen's for the Open then, Chris. Come on.
Mate, he's got to sell courts at Middlesex.
Yeah. When the Open finally happens in 2023.
Wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, he'll be needed.
What I did enjoy, by the way, was seeing a note from the TNRA this week that said that the poll and the field had been postponed. So they're quite happy to throw the British Open in the bin, but the poll's just been postponed.
Weird. Anyway, right, okay. Where Middlesex bottom third for you?
It has to be for me, just because I just don't feel comfortable out there when I'm playing.
Middlesex is top third for me.
I just don't. It's just a court I traditionally have never felt that comfortable on.
Yeah, Middlesex is top third for me. I remember Rod gave me loads of helpful tips about how to play there. Always sort of tried to use those when I played there a lot. Suits the player who's going to work really hard.
Suits the player that's going to work really hard, and I also think it suits people that play like rackets and squash and stuff like that.
Yeah. If you're random and you're just banging it around, like if you hit long, if you hit hard,
which is traditionally not my
someone like Daz would play really well at Middlesex, super well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't suit like a proper a player. Well, Peter Luckily would disagree because he would be like, no, it takes a high serve, it takes a cut, but like you've got to work so hard at Middlesex. You've got to walk on and be like, right, I need to be an alpha here. I need to work hard, or else.
I love doing.
Yeah,
But I never feel like the way I play there. I never really feel like I get any help from the court. You know, if I hit
Yeah, I
what I
agree.
consider to be like good shots,
A
they just
decent,
don't
yeah,
seem
like
to
a
be good.
decent backhand volley. If you hit it at pace, it'll just come round the walls and you can hit it, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Very easy to hit hazards off the back wall there.
Yeah, very easy.
Very easy. So again, that's good because it means you can't just hammer it around and get from the service. You can't
get
just
a bit
hammer it
out
and get
of
winners.
timber. But yeah, you can work. You can get so much back, man. So much back. But I like it. Anyway, I'm going to continue my vlog when we end this podcast. We're training for 2 hours. Have you ever thought about what drills we're going to do today?
Can't, mate. I've got a junior lesson in a minute.
Junior lesson?
I'm not thinking anywhere past my junior lesson.
Good. I'm going to have a wander into Leamington, I think. But
where are we going next after Middlesex?
Oh, it's got to be somewhere in London, doesn't it?
It's going to have to be Lords, I guess.
Yeah, it does. That's not too far from Middlesex, is it?
Got to be the two.
Somewhere North London.
The two closest courts.
Two closest courts
in the country.
Yeah.
Can't be more than 3 miles between them.
Probably not. Lords, can't wait. Your favourite club, mate.
Can't wait to talk about Lords.
However, we've overrun 55 minutes. Got excited today. We'll see you next time.